Good morning, everyone, and welcome to another beautiful morning here in Pandala Hills. We had come out to see the sunrise, but apparently it seems that the weather gods are not with us. We have with us the new updated Tata Harrier, which we recently took to the Himalayas with the Evo team. There is so much to talk about this car, especially when I've actually had a Hyundai Creta lying with me for the last 1 month. And why does the Tata Harrier make so much sense to buy in that price point? I was literally surprised looking at the sales number of the Hyundai Creta. So the Tata Harrier has gone through quite a lot of update, majorly in the areas of ergonomics and packaging. I had this car in its first generation avatar back in 2019, where I was a little apprehensive to review it, but then I took the risk of taking my mom to Spiti Valley, a road trip of approximately 1800 kilometers both the ways. And I was very surprised and genuinely impressed because while we were coming back, my mom sat in the car for 23 hours through and through with just 4 loo and food breaks. And she came back home, made a cup of tea before she went off to sleep. That says a lot about how the Tata Harrier was engineered. It's surprisingly comfortable, and the way it handles with the amount of weight it has, it's impressive. This car, however, had a lot of ergonomic issues back then, which Tata has addressed vigorously, and now this car has become an irresistible package to have under the 20 lakh price tag, and we are going to talk you through all of that. But before we talk about anything, let's just enjoy a nice sunrise that's just about to happen right behind us. So the first impression of Tata Harrier's build quality comes from these very heavy doors. You need a lot of muscle to pull them out, and they do convey you a message that you're entering a tank. Once you get inside the cabin, you're greeted by this king size space on the inside. The car is 1900 mm wide, and it does translate to a lot of shoulder room for front passengers. I'm just 5 feet 8 inches tall, and I feel like I am in a presidential suite. This car is the largest in terms of space in its segment, and what a well-designed cabin as well. What is also reassuring in terms of its build quality is the solid thud that these doors have. It's quite an impressive thing for a person who thinks about Tata to be building flimsy and not so robust cars. This car genuinely is a solid piece of engineering. Inside, the changes are very, very subtle. I mean, you'd really have to look around to find those changes from the first generation Tata Harrier. To start off with, we are going to be talking about the first touch points. The plastic behind the steering, pretty soft. The central armrest, ooh, it's so squishy. And the armrest on the door pad is also pretty soft. Everything feels ergonomic and an easy reach. The screen is not too large, and it does have all the data that you need while driving. I'm literally hating all these ostentatiously sized screen binnacles that are coming in all the Korean manufactured cars, and Tata has actually packaged this area where the screen is in a very good way. The door cards are pretty thick And besides keeping your arm over here, you can rest your arm over here as well on longer journeys, which is quite a boon for people who are taller than I am. Overall, the cabin looks pretty amazing and it does please to the eyes. Each and every detail, like this faux wood finish, the soft touch on top of the dashboard, just up the overall experience while you're traveling in this car on those long journeys. So now let's start off the engine and get going. So the first impression you have is how well insulated the cabin is. Tata has upgraded the sound insulation on the inside of the car. There is a double damping done between the engine bay and the cabin. Also on the door pads, the sound deadening has been further updated for that extra quiet experience on the inside. What is also improved is the ride quality. Not that the first generation Tata Harrier did not have a great ride quality, but what it always had was this a bit of stiffness on slower speeds. See, we just went through a speed bump and we could barely feel it. Tata has drastically improved the ride experience in the new Harrier. It feels so planted. Even if you're doing triple digit speeds, you would barely notice the car moving. Even though Tata felt that the stiffness on the suspension on lower speeds was quite a lot, they have improved it even further, and that is a really impressive thing. What the new suspension setup also translates to is a great handling balance. Because of the stiffness in the dampers, it does ride quite well and without a lot of body roll through these corners. And with this beautiful hydraulic steering setup, you really truly enjoy each and every moment driving this car. It's an absolute event. So I've been telling a lot of my friends on how the Tata Harrier is the best car under 20 lakh rupee price tag. The Indian roads are quite cumbersome for a car of this size, but for all the bad roads that we have in our country, the Harrier makes a lot of sense. And I've been comparing it to the Hyundai Creta that I've had recently for over a month. And I've genuinely felt that the Tata Harrier makes way too much sense in the same price point. It is larger, it is more comfortable, it has a much better ground clearance, of course, more power and torque, and it feels solidly built, which is a big announcement to all the global manufacturers that Indian manufacturers are taking painstaking efforts to create a safer automobile for the Indian consumers. As per safety, this car has 6 airbags, ABS, ESP and traction control as standard in this top of the line XZA variant. So the updated Tata Harrier has the same 2-litre turbocharged diesel engine, but it now produces 170 horsepower and 350 Newton meters of torque, which is transmitted through this Hyundai derived 6-speed automatic gearbox. And with this new suspension setup and an upgraded steering tuning, this feels pretty enthusiastic to drive on roads like these. Yes, it is an almost 2-ton SUV, but the way it transitions from corner to corner is quite impressive for its weight and size. So when I took it to Spiti 2 years ago, I've had a similar experience, and Tata has made sure that the dynamic experience on the Tata Harrier remains constant. And they have really truly tuned this car to perfection. Absolutely amazing way of it transmitting all that power and torque down to the ground. And in conclusion, the Tata Harrier still remains one of our favorite SUVs under 20 lakh rupees. Nothing comes close in terms of packaging than this made in India mammoth.